Hey, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. What's going on with you, Kings?
Ain't nothing much. How you doing?
I'm blessed, baby.
Con,
Blessed.
All,
con.
all praises.
All praise to the Most High. It's a pleasure to meet you, God. I know our brother had, kind of reached out to you and, a week or two ago and, spoke with you about the topic and, just build with you and everything. And, brother, he said what I mean? He vouched for you. Cool, brother, you know what I mean? And we just want to, just kind of compare doctrine and go over the scriptures with you. So, my name is Captain Jehu, or they call me Jehu. You know,
Mhm.
my
I'm
brother
General
right here.
Hezekiah.
Con.
Nice to meet you, Kings, man. Nice to meet you, Kings.
Nice to
Likewise,
meet you.
likewise. And so you go by J Rob.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
What's the SOG Son of God
Yes, sir.
acronym? Okay, okay, okay. I
okay.
like it. I like it.
That's
So
nice.
you must be Israel then,
Spiritually, yeah,
spiritual Israel.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
All right, I hear you. So we're gonna stick to the topic. You know what I mean? Because but yeah, brother, we're gonna let you introduce yourself, and if you got a platform or whatever you got going on, you wanna, open up with, and we can jump into it if y'all like.
Well, I'm J. Rob. I've been in the truth for a few years. Um, not really major, not really with no major platform or nothing like that. I fellowship with a couple of brothers, both Hebrew Israelite and spiritual Israelites that stand just like I do with salvation and all. So I have a few brothers on both sides. It's all love. Um, we just dialogue about the small differences we have. But I look at our brothers. If you walking in the faith, man, and you striving in the ways of Christ, then I ain't got nothing bad against you. We all you know have our lively things that we go through on a daily day. Fighting that tribulation. So I'm making short and sweet. We can just like I said, we the topic today is about salvation. Um, is it only for Israel, or can the world that we live in today be all as one? Under that banner of under the banner of the Most High. So glad, like I said, I'm glad to see these brothers. Glad to meet these brothers for the first time. It's gonna be a peaceful dialogue. It's gonna be a dialogue of understanding. Like I say, I'm not here to change these brothers' mind. These brothers ain't here to change my mind. We here to just edify. So that's what we gonna do. Peace be upon these brothers.
Con,
God,
con. Well put, King.
hey, beautiful.
Con, and we agree. Peaceful dialogue. We are brethren. We love Hamashiach. We love the Messiah. We love the Most High. We love our brethren.
Right.
And that's what we are here to do. Is just like you said, have a peaceful dialogue, compare scriptures, and let the Most High do everything else that He do.
So
We
That's
first
right.
like to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. That is to say, the Most High God Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ the Messiah. And what you got? You got something, King? I'll let you. Hezekiah. Yeah.
No, I ain't got anything right now. Um, I just wanted to go ahead and get into this so we can have this dialogue,
Right.
and so we can just edify.
Con. We'll let you go ahead and bring out your points, King, and why you feel the way you feel about salvation is open to everyone. And I mean, I don't know if you wanted to do it, like you said, a dialogue. I didn't, not necessarily a debate, but a dialogue. We can go back and forth. You can bring out a certain amount of scriptures if you want. We can keep it timed if you want. Um, or we just go scripture for scripture and hey, what do you think about this? And then you pull out the reasons why you think. However you like to do it, we like to accommodate.
I mean, we can freestyle it, big brother, and
Con,
we can feed off each other.
no doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
Okay.
Okay. Um, unless you want to, we extend the first blood. You know what I mean? You can draw first blood, King, if you want.
Yeah, I make my premise. I don't.
Okay.
Is it cool? One of your brothers read.
No doubt. We got it. Yeah.
Appreciate that, man. I praise.
Okay.
So, like I say, my premise is I'm gonna stick into the OT for a while right now, because when you speak about salvation, you gotta have a starting point before you get to the finish.
That's right.
So I'm gonna dive in right in Genesis. If we can go to Genesis 17. Genesis 17, and we're gonna read the Abrahamic covenant. We're gonna read the Abrahamic covenant, and we're gonna read all the way to if we can get to 13, if that's okay with you, brothers.
Con.
All right, go ahead. You can start.
Right, this Genesis 17 will start at verse 1.
No, we're gonna start at verse 9. My bad.
Oh, you want to start at 9? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Starting at verse 9. And God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations.
All right, you can start right there. So the Most High is making a covenant with Abraham and his seed, and in the generations that come after his seed. So we understand that we have a starting point right here. We have Abraham. Abraham is the forefathers of the Israelites. We don't have an Israelite on the scene at this point, so we see a forefather getting dealt with a covenant of the Most High. So we can keep reading.
Verse 10. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
As we know, so this is the covenant. So every man among you shall be circumcised. We can keep going.
Verse 11. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you.
All right, keep going.
And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you.
Okay, hold on right there. So now we see the age. We get a clear cut of the age. This is a young man, what we would call a kid, if you guys have sons. So this would be a kid. This would be a young man that has to be circumcised on the 8th day. So we see in the context of how the Most High wanting this covenant be done, of a cut of your foreskin. We keep going.
All right. Every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
All right, so now we see clear cut right here. So before I get to an Israelite on the scene, I see the Abrahamic covenant, and I see that Abraham himself, which is not an Israelite, having strangers among him. So we see that these strangers among him that are not of thy seed have to do the same thing and stand on the same covenant as Abraham. They have to stand on the Abrahamic covenant, and that means that these particular strangers have to have a cut in their foreskin. And if they have kids, then their kids, young sons, at the age of 8, have to have a cut in their foreskins. So we can continue to read.
All right, verse 13. He that is born in the Salagi.
That's all right.
I have no idea why that just started. It just started playing Salakia. Verse 13. He that is born in thy house, and he that is brought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant.
And so we see that this covenant right here is an everlasting covenant with the Most High. Now, again, this is a premise of starting. This is a starting point for myself. That's going to show before the Israelites was on the earth. And then I'm going to go prove that the Israelites, like I said, I'm going to stay in context and I'm going to stay with the timeline. That the Israelites that come about on the earth and knew that Abrahamic was their forefather, the customs of this did not change. It never changed. So the Israelites, when they came on the scene, they stood on the Abrahamic covenant in the business of the Most High by cutting the foreskin. So I'm going to show right here just the starting point of why I'm seeing the covenant or the promises are not just for Israelites in a timeline of Abraham. Abraham had his stock of people who came from his loins, and he also had strangers that sojourned among him that had to stand on the same business as him just to be around them. Just as you see the strangers that have to be around Israel later on. But I'll let you brothers proceed.
Okay. You got it. You want to go, King?
I didn't have anything there as far as like it's. I see that we see eye to eye on that so far where we're at.
Well, I got one thing to say about it. I want to go back to. I want to go back to verse. I want to go to verse 7. Can you read that for me, God?
Yeah, this is Genesis, chapter 17 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And it reads, "And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, in their generations for an everlasting covenant." Go ahead.
So right here, J-Rod, who would be the thee and thy seed?
Israel.
Okay, so he's going to establish a covenant between, and who's the thee?
The thee would be it would be him.
Right, Abraham, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to establish a covenant between Abraham and his seed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, keep on going, God. Baba Kashai.
God, to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee.
So he's going to be a God to Abraham and his seed. He said he's going to establish a covenant between Abraham and his seed, no one else. Now we keep on going down. Salakia, and I will give unto you and to your seed after you. Keep on going, God.
God, verse 8. "And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger."
Okay, so he's going to give Abraham and his seed the land where they're a stranger. Okay.
"All the land of Canaan
Uh-huh.
for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God."
He's going to be who God?
Their God.
Is that everybody, or is that Israel, or who is that, J-Rock?
No, I wouldn't consider in this context that we're reading in Genesis everyone.
Right.
I would consider the context when you continue to keep reading in verse 12 when we see that particular stranger brought up. So I wouldn't say everyone. No, sir.
So are you saying that it's Israel and the strangers, or who exactly? Who is this?
Well, in context, I'm gonna say this is Abraham's covenant. So this is in context. This is the Abrahamic covenant with him and his seed. But then, like I said, the generations to be will stand on the same the business. So Isaac, which will be a father of Jacob, which will be the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, their forefathers would have taught them this custom. And so the custom will continue to go down the line. That's why it's called with that generation. So I see that Abraham is receiving this covenant between the Most High right now. And as the Most High is explaining this, it's going to get even more in depth when they get to verse 12 and say, "With thy strangers that's are bought with money, or that lodge with you." And so we get an understanding that Abraham was among other people other than his own seed.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree that he wasn't among other people. But did the Most High say that he's making a covenant with other people, or just Abraham's seed?
With both. I say Abraham has to give the order to the people. So Abraham, just like Moses had got an order from the Most High to give to Israel and Mount Sinai, Abraham is getting a covenant from the Most High to give. This is have to be taught. If I'm Isaac, that's born from my father Abraham, he has to teach me this because I have to learn this custom. So I'm understanding what's being taught in the passage because it has to come from somebody. So Abraham will still have to get this covenant, get this understanding, and then the people that's among him, that's sojourning with him, he has to lay down that law and tell them, "Hey, this is how we do things." And so that's
okay. Slakia. My rebuttal to that would be that the strangers that are not of Abraham's seed in verse 8, those are possessions. They in my household. Anybody that's associated with me, I'm Abraham. Anybody associated with me has to have they have to be circumcised to be around me. You're unclean if you're not, right? Now, because I circumcise my possession, doesn't mean my possession then takes part in my family heritage. I don't see that in this pericope, that the stranger gets the covenant, because a covenant is an agreement. Right. The stranger wouldn't even be there, at this point. The stranger has to come in. The stranger has to be bought with money, like he's saying. These strangers are possessions. The Lord is showing us how to take care of our possessions in verse 12 there. Not just our possessions, but all of our men, children, but in their generations, when they come and they have kids, or if they purchase another nation, we have possessions. They got to be circumcised. If they're going to be around us, they got to be circumcised. That's our stance on this one.
Right.
You had something, King?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's just like he's saying, I'm making a covenant with you, and for this covenant, these are the stipulations that go with the covenant. Is that when you have a man child on the 8th day, you have to circumcise them, and then if you do have strangers that are bought with money or any of those, like it's a man child that's in your household, like you got to circumcise them, and this is just the rules of that take in my covenant, not specifically saying now that the people that do this, now they have a covenant with me, but it's just saying, hey, my covenant between my God and me, like I have to do these things to be in covenant with him.
Right. So, hey, this Moabite wants to come over, keep the commandments of the Most High and live in our land for whatever reason. He may, for whatever reason. He recognizes that our God is the one true God. He wants to come and live in the land amongst us or whatever. He got to keep this. He got to be circumcised. And this is exactly why later on, like you brought up Isaac and Jacob, his daughter Leah was
taken by Shechem.
Yes, Shechem.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's right. And then Jacob told him, hey, look, this is the agreement we got to have then. If we're going to deal with y'all, we're going to be in a covenant, we're going to be dealing with y'all. Let me say that, and sort of like a covenant between Jacob and this nation. He was proposing all your males have to be circumcised or we can't deal with y'all. You know what I mean? And so we know the story, who was that? Simeon and Levi, went over there while they were circumcised and killed everybody. That has nothing to do with it, but they did implement or attempt to implement circumcision amongst that heathen nation. Showing them, look, y'all got this don't make you in a covenant with the Most High. You don't get, the land of Canaan because now you got circumcised. You don't get these things that the Most High told us that belongs to my forefather. I mean, because if that was so, why would the Most High? First of all, the Most High is making his covenant with Abraham and his seed. Now, Abraham did have many different sons, and then his sons had other sons, and we understand through reading out the scriptures that it's talking about a certain bloodline going from Abraham to Isaac and then to Jacob and then to his seed, right? It's not talking about everybody in the world. Even if you go outside of Abraham, Abraham didn't populate the whole world. Everybody doesn't come from Abraham. He's not Adam. So even if we did say this covenant is with other people, it can't be with everybody in the world because everybody in the world is not Abraham's seed. That's another premise. And I'm gonna let you. I just want to get one scripture just to go with this stranger thing right here that we're talking about, and I'm gonna let you have it if that's okay. But I would like to say Exodus. Can you give me Exodus 12 and 43, Baba Kashab?
12.
This is to confirm, further validate what we're saying about that stranger.
This is Exodus 12 and 43. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. Thus shall no stranger eat thereof.
What kind of stranger?
No stranger eat thereof.
No stranger is going to eat of the Passover. Keep on going, Baba Kishar.
But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
One more.
A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof.
Con. So this deep passage right there, but initially it's showing you that the stranger cannot eat of the Passover. The stranger cannot partake in this. This is a commandment. This is a high holy day, and the certain stranger, because we understand that there are multiple definitions of strangers, but this a certain stranger cannot eat of the Passover. So they can't possibly take part in the same covenants that we have with our power. You got it, King.
Hey, that was a good breakdown, brothers.
All praise the Most High.
Just to bounce back off y'all, man. I agree to what you're saying to a certain extent. But I also want you to understand, like what I'm saying. I like when you say everybody, I don't stand for when it's like the whole world. That was a factual point that you said that Abraham didn't birth everybody. But one thing we did agree on that I guess we missing. But I want to point your vision here, because we seeing it, but I don't know if my eyes blur or yours. So when you say that in the beginning, we got a starting point. The Abrahamic covenant was to circumcise your male child at his eighth day. So we also see that the strangers who were sojourning with Abraham had to do the same thing. I say that these particular strangers are sojourning with him because of the Lot situation. His nephew, when he was captured or taken, Abraham went with people to handle business. That's the first time Abraham stood on business. Old head. Go handle business. So I can see that he didn't sojourn with a little small crowd. You can see when he got into Egypt that he looked like he was a royalty. That's why he did what he did with his old lady. He came into Egypt with people, cattle. He was straight. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a poor man. So when you go to Jacob's daughter in that situation, we can see the piggyback of his grandson's grandson. Well, his grandson, it is his grandson. We can see that his grandson is following the same customs as his granddaddy. And also he's going to the same extent as showing like, okay, my granddaddy had people amongst him that wasn't of his people. So this is what they had to do. So when the people of Canaan that raped his daughter and wanted to settle agreement through falling in love with her, and he was like, hey, you're gonna have to circumcise all your men. That's what's gonna have to happen. But at the same time, it was profitable for both people, for the land with the inhabitants of the land. So both of them could have, because it was a territory. If you read the story, you can see that the king of the Canaanites was in agreement to this because of the promise and things that they can have of the inheritance of Jacob and his land. And so
can you repeat that last part you were saying?
I'm saying that when the king of Canaan was in agreement of circumcising all his male, because it happened. And the reason that he was in agreement with that is because of the promise. Well, I won't say the promise, but of the inheritance of Jacob's land. See, it was territories of that time. So you got to understand that I control what I control, you control what you control. But if we merge together, this is all ours.
So and that's
why. Go ahead.
I don't mean to rudely cut you off. But I did want to, if you can land your plane, and then I wanted to just go to that event right there.
Yeah.
With go to that event there that we were reading.
With Exodus,
or you were talking about in Genesis where you was talking about the king of Shechem. You know what he wanted. Hey, can y'all hear my washing machine, man?
No, I hear you.
I just hear you.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. But yeah, I wanted to go to that event in Genesis 34 just to confirm why the king of Shechem agreed to be circumcised.
I mean, we can step there. That's no problem.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go to 34 and let's start at you want to get it, Hezekiah? Can you mind
I got 34
on
20? Okay. This is Genesis 34 and verse 20. And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came unto the gate of their city and communed with the men of their city, saying, These men are peaceable with us. Therefore, let them dwell in the land and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only therein will the men consent unto us for to be dwelling with us, to be one people. If every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised.
Keep on going.
23. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. And Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city. And every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city.
So we see here in these passages from 20 to 24 that they really was concerned about the women and their cattle. They didn't even know nothing about Abraham's blessing from Yahweh. You know what I mean? They didn't know nothing about that. They didn't know that Abraham was promised the land of Canaan. All the land was going to be theirs. Not, hey, we're going to split it up. The Lord didn't say, hey, I'm going to bless you, and then later on, I'm going to bless the servant. You know what I mean? Like, if we look at it script for script, verse for verse there in 17, it doesn't ever say, when he's talking about his covenant, it never says, hey, I'm going to give the land to you and your stranger that's with you. It just says, I'm going to give you the land. I'm going to make this covenant with you and your seed. And this is what you got to do to your servant. I mean, your stranger, But just to reiterate, there in Genesis 34, they're not aware of the blessing that the Most High promised them. They're just concerned about the women, you know what I mean? Because Israel got some beautiful women, They just concerned about the women, their cattle. They say, matter of fact, we gonna share our land with them. It's large enough. We just want to deal. We just want to, you know what I mean? We just want to mingle with them, mainly. That would be my understanding on that one.
Yeah. I'm in agreement, total. I wasn't speaking of the blessings and the promises and none of that. I was just showing you the example of how Jacob, his grandson, stood on the same Abrahamic covenant of saying, hey, you guys got to be circumcised. This is the covenant that I stand on. You got to understand, Deuteronomy ain't spoke of. So Jacob don't, ain't have heard of the blessings and curses, so he's standing on the Abrahamic covenant that his father stood on. We don't have a major law being brought to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We have a covenant between them and that foreskin. And so that's what they knew. So what I'm saying is these particular people here was cool off doing that because they was gonna get the land, they was gonna split the land, they was gonna have the women, they was gonna have cattle. You got trade routes. If Israel was trading with a particular people, you get inherit on that on the trade routes to make merchants to sell to profit. So I'm saying that they was agreeing to that, to stand on that, because it was going to uphold them as well, because as you can tell, Israel was eating. You know what I'm saying?
They would definitely benefit from it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The benefits is happening now. I don't think they have heard of the blessings of that land at the time, because this is, like I said, just the Abrahamic covenant. We get the real deal of laws, statutes, and commandments through Moses. So I'm just saying, just through the timeline, through Jacob knew to cut the foreskin to be enjoined unto his people. to be as one, you got to cut your foreskin, and this is what you got to do if you want my daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what I'm saying. That generational culture was still inherited through all the way down to Jacob. So he knew, again, these strangers of Canaan, which is not of the blood of Jacob, knew to give you the covenant to say, circumcise your people and you can be as me, and it ain't no beef. But, as you could tell, the brothers came through and handled business late at night, what I'm saying? So even though that wasn't a call for Jacob. Jacob had a problem with them doing it, but the most beefing with him at all either.
I would like to point your attention to at the bottom of 17. Can we start at 17 and 17, Baba Kashai?
Oh, Genesis.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We'll get that.
Matter
of fact, just start at 18 for time's sake.
Genesis 17 and 18.
Yes, sir.
And Abraham said unto God, "Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee."
Uh-huh.
And God said, "Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac.
Right.
And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him."
And the strangers?
And with his seed after him.
Okay, let me get 20 and 21 about the shot.
Verse 20. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly.
Okay, so he get a crumb too. Okay.
12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation.
Right. 21 is the point.
But my covenant.
What's 21 again? At the top.
But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
So the Most High is telling Abraham, I understand that you really love Ishmael. That's your boy. It's your firstborn. He's supposed to get the birthright, so-called. But 21. But my covenant, I'm telling you, Abraham, I'm going to establish that with Isaac. I'm going to bless him. I'm going to bless Ishmael. I'm going to give him, I'm going to hook him up. But my covenant, the Most High said his covenant, he is going to establish that with Isaac. You understand? So the Most High is strategic on what he gives and who he gives it to. We're seeing that now. He's not just willy-nilly saying, hey, man, all you got to do is do this and you're straight. Meanwhile, these people over here, they got to go through these hardships. I'm whooping their butt. I'm kicking their tail. I'm looking at everything they do. But, if you just say, you love Jesus, you ain't got to do nothing, and I'm going to try to hold it in because I ain't going to go on a rant, but I'm just showing you that the Most High is specific. He's specific about everything. He don't, he's saying my covenant is with Isaac. Even when we go back to what I said earlier, he's establishing his covenant with Abraham, which specifies, and his seed, which specifies only certain people in the world is getting this specific covenant. Then he breaks it down and tells Abraham, I understand you got another son named Ishmael, which is your seed. Cool. But this covenant, I'm going to give it to Isaac. You understand? So we can see that there are some exclusions. We understand that if you're from Ishmael, you don't have that covenant. The Most High cannot lie. He don't lie. He don't change. What is that? Malachi 3:6. The Most High, he's not a God that he should, he does not, he don't change.
He doesn't change.
There we go. My goodness. He does not change. He in Numbers, it says he's not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent. Has he said it, and shall it not be done? This covenant is going to be with Isaac. And then we're going to, we can go forward and it's going to say the same covenant going to be with Jacob, and if the Most High did that at this point, we understand just because we think there's a new covenant, or there's a new covenant, but just because we think there's a new way of doing things in the so-called New Testament, we know that that's the same God. He's not bound by time. He don't change. He said what he said. That's why we know that, and this is another topic, that Yahushua or Jesus cannot come on the scene and just change stuff up, because he would make his father a liar, or like his father done messed up and didn't understand. No, Yahushua is here to reiterate everything that his father said, but in a better way. He's gonna put a magnifying glass to it and expound on those things. That's all. But you got it, King. Unless Hezekiah, you have something.
Yes, you said it, and you put it very eloquently.
The water. I praise to the Most High.
Yeah, man, good job. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna just to piggyback. Well, let me just to bounce the ball back. I agree with what you're saying about the covenant with Isaac. Ishmael was never to obtain the covenant because he wasn't through the Most High by being taught to be born. You know what I mean? I mean, he wasn't told to go lay with girl to have Ishmael. He told to lay with his wife Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I agree with the covenant of going to Isaac. You know, the Most High don't draw outside the lines. Let's just say that. But I'm gonna go back to Exodus that you was in, and I want to go back to that Exodus 12.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind.
Okay.
Exodus 12. You know, let me get there. So read 37.
I got you. This is Exodus 12 and 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Sukkot, about 600,000 on foot that were men, besides children, sand on foot that were men, beside children.
And read 38.
All right. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and the flocks and the herds, even very much cattle.
So now we see where we at, and we know we're in Exodus, so we are in the wilderness. Get a timeline understanding that we're leaving Egypt from the captivity, and we're leaving with a mixed multitude, not only with blood Israelites, but you're leaving with a mixed multitude of people that was also in the land of that time that was under servitude, because Israelites was not only the nation of people that was in the metropolis of Egypt. Egypt had a lot of people that was serving them and under the bondage of Egyptians, and out of bondage with the Israelites. And we're going to read more into that, because we're going to journey in the wilderness all the way till we get to the land. So we're gonna walk today. And I hope y'all brothers got time. So if we can go to 43 and read that again that your brother brought up.
This is Exodus 43. No, this is Exodus 12 and 43.
Yes, sir.
And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover.
Stop right there. So now we understand that this is the ordinance of the Passover. We get an understanding, it's a context, and we get an understanding of the Most High clear cut. Keep going.
There shall no stranger eat thereof.
We get an understanding that the Most High said there's no stranger that should eat thereof. So we understand that this stranger is not of Israel. Keep going.
But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
All right. If you understand right there, that's an Abrahamic covenant. Still speaking of in the Exodus. Still speaking of years later, 4 or 5 past, and it's resting with the Most High. We see that this covenant is still established in the culture of the people of Israel. And they're still doing this to the people that they buy with money. Buy with money, who would that be? That would be a stranger. They're still circumcising these people, doing the Abrahamic covenant, and knowing that these people are going to be amongst them. So these people shall eat of the covenant. These people should eat not of the covenant. Let me take that back. Of the ordinances of the Passover. We know that these particular people can eat of. Keep going.
Salakia, which people are you talking about? The stranger?
The servant that is bought with money. You ain't gonna buy your brother. Israelites not gonna buy their brother. They're gonna buy their brother back. So we're not gonna put our brother in hard bondage where we will have to be redeeming him or buying him. So this or buying him from somebody. If our brothers was a servant, we're not gonna buy him to put him back in servitude. So we understand that this servant is a stranger.
Salakia. But in the first 43, it says no stranger is going to eat of this Passover. So when you say that's not an Israelite, I disagree, and I'm gonna give a real quick if you don't mind, just since we right here. Well, I should probably kind of let you build your premise, you know what I mean? But I disagree that's not a non-Israelite right there, and I wanted to just show why that's not a non-Israelite.
Hey, brother, I got time. I ain't going nowhere. So if you let me break this down, I'm gonna leave you with the Florida.
You got it, King.
Handle your business. No problem. So if you can keep reading in 45.
45. A stranger and an hired servant shall not eat thereof.
No, 45.
Yeah. 45. Was,
45. Foreigner.
Yeah.
45.
That's 45. You mean 44?
No, 45.
Yeah.
You read 43.
Yeah. No, I didn't. That was this Exodus 45. 12 and 45. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof.
All right. So we're saying that this hired servant and the foreigner shall not eat thereof. Keep going.
46. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of thy house. Neither shall ye break a bone thereof.
Keep going.
All the congregation of Israel shall keep it.
So we understand that all the congregation of Israel shall keep it. Let's go. Keep going.
And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it.
Let me get right there real quick. I'm sorry, my bad. So when we see right here, we say, and when a stranger sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover into the Lord, let all his males be circumcised. So we also seeing again that this Abrahamic covenant is not going away. This is the Most High standing on business with it all the way through. So we saying that these particular strangers here are the same people that are being bought with money, and they're having male children among them as well, and they're having to be circumcised just as well as any other male that is of Israel or the stranger. And we saying that they can partake in the same events that blood Israelites can do as well. We can keep going.
God. And he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof.
Keep going.
One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you.
So we see that we got one law. We got a law. This is a law. This is a commandment. This is what's going down right here. So we understand that the one that's born to you have a law, and we have the stranger that's among you that sojourn you has a law. So this is a commandment for both of you. So now we see that this is something that's ordained amongst non-Israelite and blood Israelite. And so we saying that things, to me, my event in my case that I'm gonna prove it is always Israel first and the stranger second. But you guys got it.
Con. Let me know, God, if you want to, you know what I mean, you want to go. I got some things, but let me know, because I'll just start talking and stuff, man.
No, I know you wanted to get in on that part where you were talking about in I think it was 44. You told me, so I ain't want to trap all that so that you won't forget on that point.
It's all good. Yeah, I want to get to the part because we understand. Well, I'll start on the stranger. Matter of fact, just to understand the stranger part, can you give me? Do you mind getting 2 Chronicles 15 and 9? Robert Kashak.
2 Chronicles 15 and 9. All right. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 15 and verse 9. And it reads, And he gathered all Judah and Benjamin, and the strangers with them out of Ephraim and Manasseh, and out of Simeon, for they fell to him out of Israel in abundance.
So this is showing that Israelites are considered strangers because, of course, there was a split with the southern and the northern kingdom, right? And so this specific scripture is showing that Asa is I'm thinking of two. Hold on. Asa is southern kingdom. He's with Judah, but hold on. Let me see. Let me just let the scripture stop. Salakia. I'm gonna read real quick. 15, and I'm gonna start at 3. It says, "Now for a long season, Israel, northern kingdom, hath been without the true God, and without a teaching priest, and without the law," because we know they split, and the Levites went with the southern kingdom. So the northern kingdom didn't have priests. They couldn't do, they couldn't really worship the Lord the way they're supposed to. Verse 4. "But when they in their trouble did turn unto the Lord power of Israel and Sodom, he was found of them." Okay, and then we jump down to I'm gonna jump down to 8. "And when Asa heard those words in the prophecy of Oded the prophet, he took courage and put away the abominable idols out of all the land of Judah and Benjamin, and out of the cities which he had taken from Mount Ephraim, and renewed the altar of the Lord that was before the porch of the Lord." The point here. "And he gathered all Judah and Benjamin, and the strangers with them out of Ephraim and Manasseh, and out of Simeon," the northern kingdom, strangers that weren't from the southern kingdom. So they're considered strangers, although they are Israel. They're in another tribe, so they're strangers to that tribe. "For they fell to him out of Israel." They came unto him from the northern kingdom in abundance when they saw that the Lord, his power, was with him. So they said, "Oh no, we rolling with the southern kingdom because he couldn't back to the Lord." You know what I mean? And I'm gonna drop down to verse 12. "And they entered into a covenant to seek the Lord God of their fathers with all their heart and with all their soul." So that's showing you these Simeonites, Manassites, Ephraimites came out of the northern kingdom and were considered strangers. And we know that they weren't just random people in Ephraim, Manasseh, and Simeon, because it says they sought the Lord God of their fathers. So Israel, when we go back to Exodus 12, these strangers, Israel is considered a stranger. Did you have something on that, Ken? Okay, Baba Kashai, give me Joel 3 and 7. Excuse me, I'm gonna get Obadiah 1 and 12.
You want Joel 3 and 7?
Nah. Let me get Obadiah 1 and 12 instead of that one. Yeah. All right. Baba Kashai.
All right, this is the book of Obadiah 1 and verse 7.
No, sir, verse 12.
12, Salakia. Verse 12. "But thou shouldst not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he came, that Salakia. He became a stranger."
Salakia. Start at 10 for context. Salakia.
Con. Verse 10. "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever."
Okay, now jump down to 12.
Verse 12. "But thou shouldst not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldst thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress."
Okay, Khan, the water, God. I'm just showing that we're just showing that these strangers in verse 43 are, the stranger that can't eat is a real heathen, right? Has no blood relation or covenant with the Most High. But we were also called strangers, right? Dropping down to verse 44, when it says, but every man's servant that is bought for money, because you said that Israelites can't be bought with money, but the scriptures say a little different. Let me get Exodus 21:2, Baba Kashai.
Exodus 21 and verse 2. And it reads, if thou buy an Hebrew servant.
What kind of servant?
Hebrew servant. 6 years he shall serve. And in the 7th, he shall go out free for nothing.
So we show that servants right here, but every man's servant that is bought for money, we can purchase Hebrew servants, we just can't own them forever. You know what I mean? I can purchase a Hebrew servant. I can't own them forever. So that, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when you have circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. Going into 45, a foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. Right. And then, so that's basically talking about, it's not contradicting itself. It's not saying, hey, a stranger can't eat, but then later on, hey, a stranger can eat. It's not saying that. It's in the interpretation from the original text and everything, but it's basically saying a real stranger, a heathen, cannot eat at the Passover whatsoever. But a Israelite servant, an Israelite foreigner, an Israelite stranger that comes from Manasseh, but he's in Judah now, trying to keep the Passover. He can keep the Passover as long as he's circumcised, him and his sons. They got to be circumcised. They can keep the Passover, right? When you jump down to 48, and when a stranger shall sojourn with you and will keep the Passover of the Lord, let all his males be circumcised. That is going back to what we were saying. Matter of fact, let me get one more, Baba Kashai. Luke 17 and 18. That is going to an Israelite stranger. This, and I'm gonna let you rock out, King.
Let me get that. Luke 17 and verse 18.
Yes, sir.
There are not found that return to give glory to God.
Salakia, I keep on doing that. Salakia, can you start at 15? God, my bad.
God. This is Luke 17 and 15. And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back and with a loud voice glorified God and fell down on his face at his feet, giving him thanks. And he was a Samaritan.
He was a what?
A Samaritan. And Jesus answering said, were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9?
Right.
There are not found that return to give glory to God, save this stranger. He called
a Samaritan a stranger. The Samaritans, we understand, that's just the northern kingdom of Israel. So, they're the northern kingdom, but even Yahweh Shai called him a stranger, right? When we look at Luke John 4, with the woman at the well. I think it's John 4. That's John 4, ain't it? The woman at the well.
Oh, at the well. Yeah. I can pick that up.
We can go there. But she's a Samaritan, and she's identifying with the well in her father Jacob, or their father Jacob, showing that Samaritans are Israelites as well. But Yahweh Shai himself is calling them strangers, but they are Israelites. So that would be my point, that the stranger, the servant, those have dual meanings, right? There in 43, that stranger is a non-Israelite. The stranger there in 48 is an Israelite. The foreigner and hired servant in 45, those are non-Israelites. They can't eat. And in 44, we understand that those servants that can be bought and circumcised, those are Israelites. You got it, King.
I appreciate that. So I'm gonna stay on the timeline schedule. So I'm gonna go up to 19. We're gonna go not 19. Let's go to Exodus 20. And I want you to read verse 8 for me. And everywhere I go, I'm gonna deal with the stranger. My like I said, we ain't here to change each other's stance. I'm not gonna argue against your stance. I just want the edification to get out on my end, just like you want the edification to get out on your end. So I want to be clear. Everywhere I go, I am gonna speak about a non-Israelite stranger. So when I get the floor and you hear me say stranger, I'm gonna say a non-Israelite stranger. I do agree that in Scripture, Israelites are confirmed to be taught as a stranger or being brought up as a stranger. But in the context and the timeline of Exodus, we are in the wilderness. So I want the edification to be that where you at geographically matters, and what's going on in the context matters. So we're in Exodus right now. We're not in the land. We're sojourning to the land, and this is what's going on. And things are being said when Israelites are in camp, and things are being spoken to at abroad. So in we in Exodus chapter 20, and read verse 8 for me, please.
This is Exodus 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
All right, so remember the Sabbath day and to keep it holy. Let's read down to verse 10.
6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
So again, everywhere I go, I'm going to speak of a non-Israelite servant that's among the Israelites, that's among the people that's going to be walking into the promised land. These particular people are doing the same sojourn and are going to keep the same customs. These people, knowing that they are not of the blood, know that they have a law, that they can stand on the same laws as Israel. It's not just for Israel. So we can go to Exodus 22 and verse 21.
It's Exodus 22 and verse 21. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger, nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Let's just read 22 just for edification.
Ye shall not afflict any widow, nor fatherless child.
So we understand that the Most High has most valuable respect on the widow and the fatherless child, and He shows where I'm gonna show that the Most High have a stretched out hand for the stranger as well amongst the people of Israel.
Salaki.
Go ahead.
So like what Pal just need to know what passage we at. My bad.
Exodus. We're in the Exodus 2, and he just read verses 21 and 22. And we just want to show that you should not vex a stranger, nor oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. So this is a law. This is a commandment that's given into the people, given into Israel about how to handle the stranger, or and the widow and the fatherless child. It's consequences behind this. If we can go to Leviticus 16, if we can go to Leviticus 16, and if you can read 29 for me.
Leviticus 16 and 29. And this shall be a statute forever unto you.
All right, hold on. This should be a statute forever. So keep going.
That in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls and do no work at all, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger that sojourneth among you.
Okay, we go again. This is the Most High showing this is the Levitical priest. This is let me say that again. This is a Levitical priest. These are the people that's set apart from Israel. I'm gonna show you a verse that how set apart they is from Israel, that they call Israelite strangers. If you wasn't a Levitical priest and you didn't uphold this priesthood, you was a stranger to the priest. And I'm gonna go to a verse that accentuates that point of mine. But I'm going to show you that the Levitical priests had law, statutes, and commandments that they had to uphold as well. And the strangers was among you, as you can see, one of the country or a stranger that sojourn you. I'm gonna go to a few more, and then I'm gonna let you brothers give your spiel. If you can go to Leviticus, let's go to chapter up. Let's go to Leviticus 17, and we're gonna read a few verses in this. Just start at 8 for me.
All right, this is Leviticus 17, starting at verse 8. And thou shalt say unto them, whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the stranger which sojourn among you, that offereth a burnt offering or sacrifice.
So now this is about the burnt offering or the sacrifice. So now we getting to dive into it. So now we getting to understand that the strangers in the Israelites are as one, because guess what that stranger gets to do? It gets to offer a burnt sacrifice, as well as the blood Israelite gets to offer one. If we can read 10.
Verse 10. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eat of any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eat of blood, and will cut him off from among his people.
And you see that, so it's no respect of a person. Nobody's getting the over blessing of the other. We see that the Most High, if you eat blood, the stranger or the blood Israelite, it's a problem for both. It's a consequence for both. So it's no reason to. I don't, like I said, I'm gonna always show with the strangers and non-Israelite, in that they are upholding the same thing that the Israelites are upholding. We can read 13.
Verse 13. And whatsoever man be of the children of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourn among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with dust.
So we have a law that the Levitical priests is giving the people. This is something that they understood. They understood that they had strangers in the land and they had blood Israelites in the land, and it was a law to both. It was a speech to both. It wasn't a speech to one. They gave to both. You in our land, you're a part of us. You have our lodge here. We have to make sure that you're doing the same thing as us. If you can read 15, please.
Verse 15. And every soul that eateth that which die of itself, or that which was torn with beasts, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until even shall he be clean.
So now you understand again that I'm going to show you that it's one law. It's not two laws, it's one law. The stranger that sojourns among you, that is a non-Israelite, that is a servant of the Most High, and a servant of you, are standing at one order. It's not out of order. The Most High has everything in order. I'm gonna go to two more chapters, and I'm gonna let you brothers have it. You can just step up to 18 for me. We ain't even going nowhere. We're gonna stay at 18 and read 26.
All right, Leviticus 18 and 26. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments.
What do you say? You should do what?
Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments.
Go ahead.
And shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you.
So we understand abominations is something that the Most High do not put up with. So now we understand that you have one for the stranger, you have one for the Israelite. It's nothing different. There's no change here. They both standing on one law. They're standing on business together. It's a punishment for both. It's a consequence for both. It's not going away. It's not changing. So I'm going to go up one more. This is my last chapter. I'm going to let you brothers have it. Let's go to 19. I stayed in 16, 17, 18, 19. I never went nowhere. So let's go to 19 and go to 10. Open me up at 10.
This is Leviticus 19 and 10. And thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard.
Let's say that. So now we understand we in the harvest. If you read Leviticus, this is about the harvest. The Levitical priests is standing on business. They making sure everything that when we get into this land, this is what we got to stand on. This is what's going to survive us. This is what's going to keep us afloat. And this is about the harvest. This is what we're telling the people to do when we're in our land and how you harvest. Keep reading.
Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am the Lord your God.
They go their hand and stretched out to that poor. They go their hand and stretched out to that stranger. It's a hand that's stretched out. It's there for the stranger and for the poor. So we see that the Most High had love for the people. Let's go to let me make sure that was it. No, go to 33.
Leviticus 19 and 33. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him.
So now you understand that. Go again. You should not vex them. We said that again. We said that all the way in Leviticus. We standing on business about this. Read 34.
Verse 34. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself.
Keep going.
For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God.
So now we understand that you was a stranger once before too. We understand that these were strangers that's with you. You can't do them the way you went. So we understand that we get Levitical priests given a commandment to stand on business with these particular people that's in your land, that's not of your blood. So we understand that this is what's going on. I'm gonna let you brothers have the floor, and then like I said, I'm gonna just stay in the context. I'm gonna stay in the OT, and I'm like I said, we're gonna rock out.
Okay. You're on mute, Cap.
The water. All praise to the Most High. Con. The water for that, J. Rob. Okay. Let me know when you want to jump in, King, because you know me.
Hey, there's a lot of information there he brought out there, but a lot of this talks about the strangers that sojourn among thee. So it's giving you a difference between strangers and then strangers that sojourn.
So and it's a reason.
Look into that. Yeah, go ahead, Cap.
You right. I'm just laying backing off of it. There's a reason why it's saying stranger this, stranger that. It sounds like a contradiction, and with the naked eye, without critical comparison, you would kind of come to that conclusion like, oh yeah, later on a stranger. No, it's not contradicting itself, and let's prove that. First, I think it was Exodus 20 and 8 we went to. Let me bring that up. I'm gonna get that one. Can you give me Numbers 11, Baba Kashaf? I'm gonna get in Exodus 20 and 8. And you said, remember the Sabbath day. Matter of fact, Shalakia, drop that, King. Do you mind giving me first Psalm 147? What is that? 19 and 20.
Psalms 147. Is it 19 and 11?
And 20. Psalms 147, 19 and 20.
19 and 20.
Okay. Salaki, let me look at it. I thought it was on 147. I'm slipping.
Yeah, it's 147.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Huh.
It's the Psalm 147, 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Who?
He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Uh-huh.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Who?
Unto Israel.
Right.
He have not dealt with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
The psalmist say, praise the Lord, that they don't even know it. They don't know his judgments. He ain't shown this word to nobody else. It's only to, so when it says he show his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel, we go to Exodus 20 and anything. We go anywhere in the law. This is a law for Israel. He didn't say, hey, get us to the heathen, go get us to Egypt. No. Matter of fact, can you give me Deuteronomy 29 and 29, Baba Kashaf? This law is for Israel. Now, yes, it sometimes it tells us what to do and how to deal with people in our land. We in our land, and this stranger comes in the land, he start drinking blood, or he start, you know what I mean? He don't want to keep the Sabbath day. You know what I mean? It's gonna be penalties for that. You know, he's breaking the law. You know, even irregardless if it's a stranger. I mean, a real heathen stranger. Irregardless of who it is, they in your land, they doing this or that, they breaking the law. You know, and there's laws for you, and there's laws for them. Go ahead, King.
This is Deuteronomy 29 and 29.
Uh-huh.
The secret things belong unto the Lord our God.
Right.
But those things which are revealed belong unto us. And to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law.
That we got to do it. The stranger ain't going to uphold that. The stranger going to do what the stranger want to do because they don't have a covenant with the Most High. You know, if the Most High wanted to make a Moabite an Israelite, he would have made him an Israelite. He don't have the spirit to do. And sometimes they have a level of faith that the Lord gave them, but they just don't. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna get off track. So we had right there Exodus 20 and 8. Let me get that. Exodus 20 and 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your power. In it you shall not do any work, you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. Now that doesn't matter if it's an Israelite stranger or a heathen stranger. Nobody can work in the land of Israel. Nobody's supposed to be doing nothing on the Shabbat. Nobody. If you in the land of Israel, that's breaking the law if you're doing anything on the Shabbat outside of these lines. So I don't really got to go too deep into that, but I did want to touch on the mixed multitude that you said was going to walk into the land. Can you give me numbers 11, Baba Kashai?
Yeah. All right. You want to start from 4, or you want to? Where you want to start at?
Yeah, you're right. Just now start at 1 and then jump down to 4, Baba Kashai.
Got you. This is Numbers 11 and 1. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord, and the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burnt among them and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp.
So the Lord got upset with the people for complaining, and the Lord had a fire consume. Jump down to 14, Baba Kashai. Hey, we was talking about this all weekend.
Yeah, we were.
Come on.
Verse 4. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat?
Right.
We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. And the manna was as coriander seed, and the color thereof as the color of bedlam. And the people
no, my bad. Keep on going. You got it. Salaki.
Okay. Con. And the people went about and gathered it and ground it in mills and beat it in a mortar and baked it in pans and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp, in the night the manna fell upon it. Then Moses heard the people weep through their families, every man in the door of his tent, and the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly. Moses also was displeased.
Salakia, where is the part where it shows that the mixed multitude got destroyed, basically. They fell a lusting. That's basically what
that was. Is that in 12? No.
No matter. I got another daggone it.
I don't think where that was.
It shows where they didn't make it in the kingdom. But I got another. I got another. I'm gonna bring this one out. This is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, because it kind of reiterates it. 15 and 14. It says, and all the enemy of your people that hold them in subjection are most foolish and are more miserable than very babes. For they counted all the idols of the heathen to be gods, which neither have the use of eyes to see, nor noses to draw breath, nor ears to hear, nor fingers or hands to handle. And as for their feet, they are slow to go. For man made them, and they that borrowed his own spirit fashioned them, but no man can make a god like unto himself. For being mortal, he worked a dead thing with wicked hands, for he himself is better than the things which he worshipped, whereas he lived once. Salakia. There we go, 18. Yea, they worship those beasts also that are most hateful, for being compared together, some are worse than others. Neither are they beautiful, so much as to be desired in respect of beasts, but they went without the praise of the Most High in his blessing. Verse chapter 16. Therefore, by the like they punished worthily, and by the multitude of beasts tormented. Instead of which punishment, dealing graciously with your own people, you prepared for them meat of a strange taste, even quails to stir up their appetite, to the end that they, desiring food, might for the ugly sight of the beasts sent among them loathe even that which they must needs desire. But these, suffering penury for a short space, might be made partakers of a strange taste. For it was basically it's going in to the mixed multitude, getting with some of the Israelites and lusting after these foods, and the Most High destroyed them. He got rid of them out of the congregation because they basically were ungrateful, and the Lord brought them out from Egypt just to destroy the mixed multitude in the wilderness. The only people we understand, the only people that made it into the kingdom was Caleb and Joshua. Caleb and Joshua are the only two original people that made it in. Everybody else was under 20 years old. I could keep on going on that, elaborate a little more, but I'm gonna stop it right there for the sake of time. But it's basically showing that the mixed multitude, they fell a lusting in the wilderness. They didn't get to make it in. The Most High got rid of them, and that's how he alludes to in the future. He's going to bring Israel out of their captivity. He's going to bring them in the wilderness, and he's going to try them in the wilderness again, and he's going to get rid of all the rebels. The Bible says in the wilderness as well. I'm gonna leave that there. That's just talking about that Exodus 20 and 8. We know that the laws were only given to Israel. These laws are not for heathen, and the mixed multitude, they fell a lusting. Exodus 22, 21, and 22. You said something about we shouldn't oppress the stranger, and we agree. Whether that's an Israelite stranger, well, Israelite stranger we can't oppress. But let me get Leviticus 25, Baba Kashai. Leviticus 25. Okay. Yeah. Got you. 25 in verse number. Let's start at 44.
All right. This is Leviticus 25 and 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you.
They're going to be the heathen that's round about us. What are we talking about?
Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondwomen, maids. So keep moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession.
So we stopping at all of the stranger verses, and you're saying the stranger. Now these are the strangers. We can buy them, we can purchase them, we can own them, like I was alluding to in Genesis when you went to Abraham, and then it started talking about circumcising the stranger that's around you. Yes, if it's a male, he got to be circumcised, but that's a possession. He's a possession, and as it's going to be in the kingdom to come. These are laws. That's another thing. everything that we're reading now, it's not just talking about that time right there. Most of the stuff that the Most High was given the understanding on and giving these laws about, it's about things that's going to happen in the future. Because remember, these are laws that can never go away. So when the kingdom of heaven is established on earth, these same laws are going to be intact. So the Lord is telling us, in the future, when Yahushua establishes his kingdom on earth, we're going to have strangers. They're going to be our servants. They still have to be circumcised. They can't be doing this or that. They got to do what, you know what I mean? They got to keep the law too. They don't have a covenant with us, but we're going to possess them, own them, pass them down. Keep on going, God.
God, this is verse 46. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever.
How long?
Forever.
Okay, keep on. This last part is a kicker right here.
But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule over one another with rigor.
Oh, that's oppression. That is a big difference between what we can do to strangers that's living amongst us, you know what I mean, and what we can do to our brother. That is a big difference right there. And that is showing separation. You know, that is showing how the Most High is favoring this one nation of people. You know, that is a big difference. One more, King, can you give me 47 also?
Verse 47. And if a sojourner or stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwell by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him.
So he can be redeemed. Your brother, he get sold, he get, you know what I mean, to a stranger, he can be redeemed. But the stranger that's amongst us, that's around us, he can be possessed forever. We're going to pass him down to our kids and our kids' kids. You know what I mean? Perpetual servants and slaves. That's what the Most High is saying right here. Did you have something, Ken?
Yeah, and that just shows that there's a difference. But in the land, when it comes to the law, like where you do read in some parts where it says, and it says that there should be one law. And like of course there's going to be one law because that's the law of that land.
Right.
Because you can't just make up some law like, well, the law in my land applies to your land.
Right.
Like, no, there's going to be one law while you here in my land, whether you work, you're a hired servant, you're a handmaid, you're a bond servant, whatever it be. Hey, there's going to be one law in this land. And this is how it goes.
And that's exactly right. You know, that's a reason why it's saying, hey, stranger here, stranger there, but this stranger can do this and this stranger can't. Certain strangers are going to be possessions, right? But your brother that's an Israelite, you can't possess him forever. You know what I mean? You can't rule over him with rigor. You know, another point that he touched on, almost done. Let's see, Leviticus 16 and 29 is atonement. Leviticus 16 and 29 going into the atonement. Well, that's for all Israel. All Israel have to atone for sins, not just priests. So that's all Israel, not just the priests and everything. Leviticus 17 and 8 going into the sacrifice. You mind going there for me, God?
Yeah, Leviticus 17 and verse 8.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna go there. You go, if you don't mind, Lamentations 1 and 10. I'm gonna go to Leviticus 17 and 8.
Gotcha.
I'll read that. So you brought out Leviticus 17 and I think you said 8 about a sacrifice. Yeah, 17 and 8 it says, and you shall say unto them, whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel or of the stranger which sojourn among you that offereth a burnt offering or sacrifice. Now, everybody's not allowed to offer sacrifice. Everybody cannot offer sacrifice in the land of Israel, and I'm gonna prove that with Deuteronomy 7 and 3. Just to start it off, you know, Deuteronomy 7 and 3 says 7 and 2. Salakia 22, Deuteronomy 22. No, 23. Salakia. I'm tripping, y'all. Deuteronomy 23 and verse number 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Forever. Right? Go ahead with that. Go ahead with yours, King. Lamentation.
Lamentations 1 and verse 10. The adversary has spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she had seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary.
Who?
The heathen had entered into her sanctuary.
Whom
thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation.
The Lord said the heathen should not enter into the congregation. One more, just like 2 pages to the left, God. Give me Jeremiah 51 and 51, Baba Kashad.
51 and 51. I got you. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 51. We are confounded because we have heard reproach. Shame have covered our faces, for strangers are come into the sanctuaries of the Lord's house.
Strangers. No, that was it. I think that was it. More on that. My bad.
No, that's it. That's it. I was going into the next verse.
Last one, God. One more. Joel 3 and 17. Baba Kashad. He said, "We confounded because strangers have come into the Lord's sanctuary. Strangers up in the house. You know what I mean? Now we were just reading in Leviticus 17 and 18, 17 and 8. It said, "Whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers which sojourn among you, that offer a burnt offering or sacrifice." But now we talking about, hey man, we confounded because strangers in here now. You know what I mean? Okay. Go ahead, you got that one. 3 and 17, Joel.
I got you. This is Joel 3 and 17. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain.
Right.
Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore.
No strangers is going to pass through us when Yahushua set up his kingdom on earth. When the Most High set up the kingdom of his son on earth, Yahushua HaMashiach, ain't going to be no strangers coming through there. One more, man. One more. Just reiterate that. It's just going.
I got you.
You know what I mean? Daniel. Can you give me the book of Daniel, Baba Kashai? Where'd it go? Is it 2 and 44? Joel said no strangers are going to come through her no more.
God, this is Daniel 2 and 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to another people.
It should be what?
Shall not be left to another people.
Strangers amongst us.
Shall not be left to other people.
Come.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
That's right. The kingdom of heaven ain't going to be left to other people. The kingdom of heaven going to be, the saints going to possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. That's what it say.
7 and 13. No, 7 and 18. Sorry.
7 and 18. That's right. The last thing I would just want to touch on, you touched on Leviticus 19, 33, and 34. And that is, let me get it. And if a stranger sojourn with you in your land, you shall not vex him. But the stranger that dwell with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and you shall love him as yourself. For you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your power. So the Lord said, it's right here, he's saying this stranger, you got to love him as yourself, treat him like he was born amongst you, right? And all that. But then, what was that we were just reading? Leviticus 25, it tells you that one stranger can be bought and purchased, and you can possess him forever. You can rule over him with rigor. But this stranger right here, you got to treat him just like yourself. You can't buy you. We understand that and Hezekiah, he's a Hebrew. I can't sell him. I can buy him, but I can't have him over 6 years.
The 7 year, you got released on the year, the Jubilee, the year of Jubilee.
Year of Jubilee, that's right. Year release. Con, so I can only have you a certain amount of time. I can't possess you forever. But the 25 and 44 says I can possess this stranger forever, and give them to my kids.
You're right.
Salakia, real quick.
Hey, on that point, what I believe that it's saying now, when it does say that's the one law for them, or that you got to treat them, that you got to love them like they love yourself, it's basically just telling you, hey, if you like it, they got to keep the law just like you would teach anybody else the law, and that you can't have no favor with them. Like you love yourself, and you love yourself by loving God and keeping His commandments. You got to hold them to that same standard you hold yourself, and you got to make sure that they keep the law. That's how I see that.
I agree that too. The only other thing I would add onto that is in these two specific verses. If you look at them, and I wish we could probably pull it up. I don't know, y'all, for lack of time, but if you look in the blue letter, those words, those Hebrew words there for stranger is gar, which typically means an Israelite, a fellow Israelite. Both of those are gar. That stranger in 33 and 34.
I can pull that up. I got blue letter. I can pull that up. Let me pull up.
Now I'm gonna be the first to say I'm not gonna say blue letter is correct on every single thing they say. It's all about the context, but if we're keeping everything in context, remember, there's strangers here, and there's strangers that can keep the Passover and can't. There's strangers that you can possess forever, and then there's some that you can, that you can't.
All right, I got that up. Should be popping up on the screen. Let me know when you see it, and let me know if you can read it.
It's good, and we can see it and read it.
Okay, con. So we're in 19 and 33, but it says, but the stranger that dwell. So you can see there that the word is gar. It goes into H1616, and I'm gonna go into the word here so that we can have it and we can examine its biblical outline or usages. So we got the outline of biblical usages. So like my word in there. You have a sojourner, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights, or a foreigner in Israel through conceded rights.
Con. So this context is typically referring to, like we read earlier, there are strangers from Manasseh coming down into Judah, or vice versa. Those are Israelites, but they're Israelite strangers to another land, as opposed to what's the other? Not guard, but
you talking about because that's guard, and then there's Nagar,
Ben Nakar, something like that.
Nakar.
Con. That's a straight. Typically, that's a straight heathen. Typically, But yeah, so really, we gonna let context supersede all of this stuff and understand that the Lord is telling you to treat this one a certain way, but the other one you can possess them. Now we still, we can only do, even if it's a heathen stranger, we can only do what the Most High say we can do within the law. So
right.
I'm gonna land my plane there. But before you get on, J. Rob, I did want to just confirm. We on stranger right now, but we wanted to see if I wanted to see where they get the salvation.
Right.
I know I went for a while, man. I'm Salaki.
No, you good. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is when you're dealing with the Most High, to take that journey, it's gonna take a little minute to get to where you wanted to get that land, that plane. Because I gotta show more in detail and depth than just go straight to it. The Most High showing me the way I want to walk with him. If you don't mind.
Con, you got it, Ken. I was just making sure we,
Yeah, most definitely. It's all when it's all gonna go down to it's gonna all boil in one boiling pot. You know what I mean? So like I said, I'm gonna keep it in context. I ain't moving nowhere. I'm gonna go to Leviticus. If you can go Leviticus 20 and 2.
2. All right, this is Leviticus 20 and verse 2. Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones.
So it was going to show that it's one punishment for all. It's no different. So we understand. Like again, I'm showing that be the strangers to be non-Israelites. So I'm like I said, I'm gonna stand on that all the way through. So if you can let's go to Leviticus 22 and read 10. Start at 10. Open up at 10.
Leviticus 22 and verse 10. There shall no stranger eat of the holy things. A sojourner of the priests or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy things.
So now you see these, if you know the context of what's going on here, this is about Aaron's son. This is about the Levites and the holy things. So this is going to show that the strangers and the Israelites cannot eat of the holy things. To the point you can read verse 12.
Verse 12. If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of any offering of the holy things.
Keep going.
But if the priest's daughter be a widow or divorced and have no child, and is returned unto her father's house, as in her youth, she shall eat of her father's meat, but there shall no stranger eat thereof.
And this is the ways of the Levitical priest. This is not the ways of Israel as a whole. This is the ways of the Levitical priests in what they have to do with their children and amongst the children of Israel to proclaim the holy things in which are for the Most High.
So
go ahead.
What verse was that again, y'all?
That was 12.
I mean, what chapter?
Verse Leviticus 22.
22 and 12.
But read Leviticus 22 and 11.
This is 22 and verse 11. Excuse me. But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it, and he that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat.
See, as you see that the Levitical priests have servants, and they can eat of the holy things because they are in the house of the Levitical priests, so they can take they eat what the Levitical priests can eat. But as you can see, the Levitical priests they hold the laws very strict. As you can see, as your own daughter, if she's married to a stranger, which is in this case a non-Israelite, she can't even eat. He's not even gonna feed her, his own daughter. So Levitical priesthood on very strict terms. You can read 18.
Verse 18. Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, whatsoever he be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, that will offer his oblation for all his vow, and for all his freewill offerings, which they will offer unto the Lord for a burnt offering.
And again, you can see that the strangers can give a offering and a burnt offering, and this is in a freewill offering, just as well as the Israelites can give their offerings, and they're giving it to the Levitical priests. And the Aaron's sons has an understanding of these things. You can see that you have always the house of Israel first, and then it speaks of the stranger second. So that's where I'm going with the stance that I'm taking. That it's always Israel first, then you have the stranger second. If we can go to Leviticus 23, let's read about the harvest. 23. 23, and you can read go to 16. Read 16 first. Starting off at
23 and verse 16. Even unto the morrow after the seventh Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Ye shall bring out of your habitations.
My bad. That's my fault. My bad. 22. I apologize.
Okay. Verse 22. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest.
Mm-hmm.
Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am the Lord your God.
You see that again. I said it at the back in Leviticus, that you see the stretched out hand to the poor and to the stranger, that to leave the food, leave them something to eat. Leave them something to eat. Leave them the crumb. Leave them the crumb, and they're there. They're still getting fed. They're still getting something. There's still something there. So this is what's going on, that you could tell the difference between bloodline Israelite and the non-Israelite. You can see what's going on amongst what's going to happen in the land, and what's going to be how in order these particular people are going to be. If we can read, well, I'm not going to read Leviticus 25. Y'all broke it down right. I'm just going to get my understanding on it. Y'all brothers went there and you broke it down. And we see strangers there a whole lot. To my understanding, like I said, in Leviticus 25 and I think 33, we get an understanding of, you don't have to go there, you got to understand it. We get an understanding of a real bloodline Israelite being called a stranger because he's in waxing poor. Then we get the understanding of the stranger being waxed rich. So they get an understanding that these particular strangers that's among Israel can hold a high standard amongst Israel, because they can inherit Israelites to their stock and to their family. And yeah, you can be redeemed from an uncle, or you can be redeemed from a brother over the Jubilee years and be free. But you see that these particular strangers, these are not a foreigner. These are strangers amongst the land that's waxing rich. They got rich, but however they got rich, And so you can see the difference between these particular strangers that's amongst Israel. We can see that these strangers are dwelling with Israel. It's a plain fact, and that's why I'm going to show that when I speak of salvation, I'm going to show how much of in the old is never changed in the new. These particular strangers have always been along and always been able to work in the Commonwealth of Israel. So if we go to, I'm gonna just go we go to Numbers 15. We go to Numbers 15. Like I said, y'all brothers gave a good breakdown in Leviticus 25. So I ain't gonna be a tape player. We'll save the time. But if we got to go back to that, then we can. Let's go to, like I said, Numbers 15 and read verse 29 and 30.
Numbers 15, verse 29 and verse 30. Ye shall have one law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them. But the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproacheth the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
And so now we see again, there's nothing different between a stranger and the born Israelite. We're not getting a difference in law. The Most High is giving the law to these same people. Again, I'm not speaking of everyone. I'm speaking of the people that sojourning with Israel. It's making it clear cut as day. They're not saying that the whole people are sojourning. Again, on a mixed multitude that you spoke of, that did go a lusting. But when you kept reading, you all saw that the Israelites was complaining as well and did the most complaining. And so, yes, you did see a fall of Israel, and you did see a fall of the mixed multitude, but that wasn't all of Israel, and that wasn't all of the mixed multitude. So people did get into this land, and they did go. I will prove that. And we can go to let's start walking in Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 10. Let's start getting there so I can start getting to my point.
You said Deuteronomy 10 and 2.
Deuteronomy 10 and start at open me up at 13.
13.
Mm-hmm.
This is Deuteronomy 10 and 13. To keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
Here we go. Now you stop there. You brothers are Israelites. So now we're getting to talk about the curses and the blessings. So whatever's being said here, I should be able to take that receipt and apply it to you brothers. And you brothers should stand on the business of what's going down in these particular laws, statutes, and commandments that's being stated here. So keep reading.
Verse 14. Behold, the heaven and the heavens of heavens is the Lord's thy God.
Mm-hmm.
The earth also with all that therein is.
Mm-hmm.
Only the Lord had delight in thy fathers to love them.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is this day.
Now again, there we go. He said they chose all people. There again, I agree that the Most High chose Israel amongst all people, against people, the nations to be. If you know about history and you know about your historical things, you know that the people of earth has always been around. The Egyptians was always around. The statue. The Babylonians was already a statue. The Canaanites was already a statue. These people of these particular nations was already about. They was already serving gods. Nobody was serving the Most High until Abraham, the forefather of the Israelites, brought faith into the Most High. And so he chose this particular seed of people over the nations. There's nothing wrong with that. He chose them to be a particular light and particular vessel of his. We can keep reading.
Verse
16.
Circumcise therefore the foreskins of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For the Lord your God is God of gods, and Lord of lords, and a great God, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward.
Mm-hmm.
He doeth execute the judgment of the fatherless, and widows, and loveth the stranger.
Say that again.
And loveth the stranger.
Okay.
In giving him food and raiment.
We read that in Leviticus. If we read that where you keep your harvest and you give it to the poor, you give it to the widow, you give it to the fatherless, you get. And he said, "I loveth the stranger." So you brothers should have the same heart as the Most High to have. That's why I don't understand that we're gonna have these differences that we sit here together and we reading out the same book and we not showing the love to the stranger. But it's all right. We're gonna have our differences and we'll meet the Most High when our time coming. We'll have that judgment on our own. I can't judge that for you brothers. But I want you to see that the love that the Most High have for thy strangers. This is not an Israelite. This is not an Israelite. This is a stranger. Keep reading.
Verse 19.
Please.
Love ye therefore the strangers.
Okay.
For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Commandment. That's a commandment. There's two strangers right there. I'm not going to conflate or deflate none of that. I'm going to read it with verbatim of what it say. Love thy strangers, because ye were strangers in Egypt. Ye were strangers in Babylon. Ye were strangers in Assyria. Ye were strangers when you got took out of the land that was promised to you through the Most High, and you did not stand on the commandments. You got kicked out. If you say that you guys are Israelites, this is what happened. It's his context and it's written in his Bible. So ye have to love the stranger. This is a non-Israelite. If you guys are going to sit here and go back to this in some kind of way, twist the scripture to make this seem like it's an Israelite, I don't have a problem with that, brothers. You can do what you please. I'm going to read it for what it say, and I'm going to stand on the business of the Most High, and I'm going to love that stranger with no problem and no issue to go back and to debate it and have an issue with it. And I hope you guys don't either. So let's keep reading. Let's go to, this is my favorite verse that I read to my Hebrew Israelite brothers. It's my favorite one. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to chapter 29 and verse 9. This is my favorite verse. I want to get an understanding. I can't wait to hear you guys rebut to this.
Deuteronomy what verse?
29, chapter 29, and we're going to start at verse 9.
29 and verse 9.
Yes, sir.
29 and verse 9. All right. This is Deuteronomy 29 and verse 9.
Before you get there, let me get it in context with you brothers, and I'll read it real quick. You just stay right there. Let me read 28. Let me read 28 and 28. What's that? 43. Let me read 28 and 43. Then it says, the stranger that is with thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. So we can understand. I want to get an understanding that we have these strangers here in Deuteronomy in the land. We here. So now I want you to read. This is what's going to happen when Israel go against the commandments of the Most High. This is prophecy. This doesn't happen overnight. This doesn't happen over. This happens over millennium. But this is just a prophecy that will happen. But you can read 29 and 9.
This is 29 and 9. Keep therefore the words of this covenant and do them, that ye may prosper in all that ye do.
Yes, sir. Keep reading.
Ye that stand this day, all of you before the Lord your God, your captains of your tribes, your elders and your officers, with all the men of Israel.
All right, I'm sorry, big brother. I want you to read that verse again. I want you to let's slow it down. I want all the people to hear this.
All right. This is verse 10. Ye stand this day, all of you, before the Lord your God, your captains of your tribes, your elders, and your officers, with all the men of Israel.
All the men of Israel. So now we get a context of what's going on and what's being said. This is a gathering of Israel. This is a gathering of the people that Moses is going to speak to. He's wrapping up the commandments. He's wrapping up the blessings. He's wrapping up the curses. This is all that's right here. He's concluding. He's all this right here. He just let out a great speech of the Most High. He let out a great speech. Keep reading. Let's understand who's all there. Keep reading.
Verse 11. Your little ones,
the kids,
your wives,
the women,
thy strangers that is in thy camp, from the hewers of water, the hewers of thy wood, unto the drawers of thy water.
Servants. So we got to understand, and we got our kids here, we got our wives here, and we got thy strangers. Thy strangers. Now, for any man or any human being with a great conscience come here to inflate or deflate this verse that the Most High had just spoken to 29 and 10 has a problem. You got all the men. He just break down all the men, even your elders or your officers, and he says all the men. Then he breaks down the old ladies. He breaks down the children. He breaks down, then he says the strangers, from the hewers of the wood to the drawers of water, the people that's helping me out, that's doing things. So now let's keep reading.
Verse 12, that thou should have entered into covenant with the Lord thy God, and into his oath, which the Lord thy God maketh with thee this day, that he may establish with thee today for a people unto himself, that he may be unto thee a God, as he hath said unto thee, and as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob.
So he said all this unto Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob, to the forefathers of Israel. He gave all this. He's going through all these commandments and laying down law. We went all the way from Leviticus, Numbers to Deuteronomy, and we also got an understanding of what the strangers was among these particular nation of people. So they had an understanding of the forefathers of Abraham, Isaac, and of the Israelites, forefathers, because they had to do what? Force the Abrahamic covenant first. Circumcise their foreskin. They had to be involved. They had to also have laws. I've been going through all the laws. If you, whoever go back on this tape, I've been going through all the laws. I shouldn't have to go back. They had laws that was among the strangers as well. The hewers of wood and the drawers of water. So yes, the covenant and everything was from Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob. But these particular people had non-Israelites among them that had to stand on business just as well as they did, but it didn't come through their blood. They was converted into the living and the culture of the Israelites. Simple as plain as put. Keep going. 14.
Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath.
Keep going.
But with him that standeth here with us this day before the Lord your God.
Say that again. So now you got to say my bad in a minute. Stop right there. So now we go. Who else was standing there? The strangers. So before we get a misconclude and somebody sat here and stomp on these words and put mud on the words and say, oh, well, man, it's just for Israelites because you got Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Who are they for? Israel. Yeah, and I just said it go through them. But then we got to understand in this. Say, not just with you, I make this oath. It's to stand on business. Not just with you. But the people that stand here today and the people that's not here right now, because this is a prophecy that's gonna keep going and going and going. When you read the Bible, it's a this particular oath comes in because I'm gonna show you again. You got Ruth, you got the Hittite Uriel. I'm gonna show you people that is non-Israelites that was among Israelites, and guess what they was doing? Keeping the customs. Keep reading.
Verse 16. For ye know how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the nations which ye passed by.
Mm-hmm.
And ye have seen their abominations and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them.
Mm-hmm.
Lest there should be among you man or woman or family or tribe, whose heart turneth away this day from the Lord our God, to go and serve the gods of these nations, lest there be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood.
Mm-hmm. So if you go off doing what you see, we like I said, we traveled through the nations. The Israelites had a far journey. It wasn't an easy journey, it was a far journey because they tried to go through Edom, and Edom said, "Hell no." That's why it's real beef with them. And they excuse me, if they would have went through Edom, they would have got to the land quicker. They had to go all the way around. That's why everybody started complaining and beefing with Moses. So if you get an understanding that it's a problem with it's through scripture. But I got two more scriptures, and I'm gonna let you brothers have it. I want to go to Joshua. Because I'm walking, and we almost there. So I'm walking and getting the understanding of Israel, stranger, law. So we get an understanding of what's going on. So when we get to Joshua, Moses has passed. Joshua is a warrior. He's a guy that fought for us. And so let's go to Joshua. Let's start at 10. Let's start at 10. I'm sorry, 9. My bad. 9 and you can read 9 and we can start at 3. Start at 3. Open us up at 3.
This is Joshua 9 and verse 3. And when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done unto Jericho and to Ai.
So my bad. So now we know that Gibeon is a Canaanite people. They was in the land before when Joshua was seeking out the land. They heard of what the Israelites done to the people beforehand, and was scared, and they played a trick. If you know the story, they played a trick. They riding their fruits. They tore their clothes up. They put dust on their horses, but they was really one of the biggest Canaanites inhabitants in wealthy estates, but they didn't want to get hit with that sword. And so when you read go to 22, read at 22.
Right. Joshua 9 and 22. And Joshua called for them, and he spake unto them, saying, Wherefore have ye beguiled us, saying, We are very far from you, when ye dwelt among us?
See what I'm saying? So if you know the story, to who ain't never read it, man, go read this. It's a beautiful book. These Gibeonites beguiled them. That means they played them, and lied to them. They told them we come from a far away place, and they really was, like I said, already in the inhabitants of that land. It came, some messages got to Joshua and told him that they lied to him, and so. This is what's so crazy. Joshua stood on so much business. He didn't even kill him. He was like, I already made a statue with you, brothers. And I already told you I wasn't going to kill your people. I wasn't going to destroy your people. But guess what? Keep reading. Keep reading. Keep reading. Just keep reading. This is beautiful. Keep reading.
Verse 23. Now therefore ye are cursed.
Mm-hmm.
And there shall none of you be freed from among bondmen.
Mm-hmm.
And hewers of wood and drawers of water.
We heard that in what? We heard that in Deuteronomy 29. So we know what we do with the servants. We know that these people are not Israelites. We see what's going on. Joshua made them, put them right to work. Told them, y'all ain't gonna be free. We're gonna curse you. So, but get what? These people they was among them. And when you find out that they was among them, we gonna find out. We're gonna keep going. Let me shut up. Just keep reading.
For the house of the God of my God. And they answered Joshua and said, because it was certainly told thy servants how that the Lord thy God commanded his servant Moses to give you all the land and to destroy all the inhabitants of the land from before you. Therefore, we were so afraid of our lives because of you and have done this thing.
And so that's why he told him. That's what he said, man, this is what we did it for, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, we heard what you was doing. The Most High stretched out his hand. Y'all been handling business. Y'all been plunging and coming to the land. And we heard about y'all, bro. So look, this is why we played you. This what's up. Keep reading.
And now, behold, we are in thy hand, as it seemeth good and right unto thee to do unto us.
It's cool. We deserve it. We deserve it. Go ahead.
And so did he unto them, and delivered them out of the hands of the children of Israel, that they slew them not.
Didn't kill them. They could have killed them. They could have went ahead and knocked them off, but they didn't. Keep reading.
And Joshua made them that day hewers of wood and drawers of water for the congregation and for the altar of the Lord, even unto this day, in the place which he should have chose.
And so get what? This particular nation of people did what? They stayed in their land. They didn't get knocked out their land, but they was what? They were servants to the children of the Most High. They were servants to the children of the Most High. But they didn't get knocked out their land. I'm gonna go to one more verse, and then I'm gonna let you brothers have it. I just want to show this. I gotta show this because it's important. So let's go to let's go up to one chapter. Let's go to Joshua 10 and just read 1.
Joshua 10 and 1. Now it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, have heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, as he had done to Jericho and her king. So he had done to Ai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them.
No, so now we see the inhabitants of Gibeon made peace with Israel and were among them. So now we who in the land? We got a king that's already in Jerusalem. We got to go knock them out. We've got to go knock them out. But get what? They heard of Gibeon getting peace with them. So it's a problem. What this king do? Keep reading.
Verse number 2. That they feared greatly because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai. And all the men thereof were mighty.
So what I tell you earlier, that the Gibeonites was what? A big city. They lied and told Joshua they weren't known with a poor city. Now this was one of the royal cities, a great city. You feel what I'm saying? So keep going. 3.
Wherefore Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Paran, king of Jarmuth, and unto Jephthah, king of Lachish, and unto Debir, king of Eglon, saying.
So he sent all these kings. He sent a message. It's a problem here. Let's keep reading.
Come up upon me and help me, that we might smite Gibeon, for it have made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel.
Oh man, so the Gibeonites, they made peace with them. They done made peace with a powerful nation. You know why they powerful? Because they serve the Most High. And the Most High helped handling business with them. So now they ready to go and knock off Gibeon, because Gibeon got a powerful ally. Keep reading.
Therefore, the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up, they and all their hosts, and encamped before Gibeon and made war against it.
No, that we see. Now we made war. We in their land. Let's keep reading. Let's see what happens.
And the men of Gibeon said unto Joshua to the camp of Gilgal, saying, Slack not thy hand from thy servants. Come up to us quickly and save us and give us, and help us. For all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains are gathered together against us.
So now he come to aid of Joshua. He come to see if he gonna aid them. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what the Israelites do.
Verse 7. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor.
I hear you. Keep reading.
And the Lord said unto Joshua, fear them not, for I have delivered them into thy hand. There shall no man of them stand before thee.
You hear that? So the Most High telling them, go ahead and handle business. Go with the Gibeonites. They with y'all. This is what's going on. This is the mightiness of the Most High, man. Keep reading, bro.
Verse 9. Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly and went up from Gilgal all night. And the Lord discomforted them before Israel and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goeth up to Beth Horon, and smote them to Azekah and unto Makkadah.
You see that? So you see the what's going on with Joshua. He's helping guys, and these people was hewers of water and drawers of wood, servants, and they fighting together. It's no beef. And later on in the story, you will hear the Gibeonites and the Israelites fighting together, beefing together, fighting together, just like any other political friction or what you may have. But you see the respect of what's going on here of helping out a non-Israelite nation of people that was royal, that was already established and didn't get kicked out the land. But I'm not gonna hold up too much of you brothers' time. I just wanted to put that out there, and I'm gonna let you brothers have
it. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High power Yahweh. You know what I mean? In the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Man, that was great. We went through, a lot of much of the Torah. We went through much of the Torah. And learned about a lot. It was a lot to touch on there.
Right.
And Hezekiah, I know you've been reading a lot. So let me know. I can switch up, whatever. I'll start reading for the brother too. You know what I mean?
Okay. Let's go back. We can look through a few of these verses. Let me see. We touched on Numbers 15. Let me go there real quick.
Yeah, 15, 29, and 30. I can bring it up. I mean, I can read it if you want to speak on it.
29 and 30.
15 and 29.
All right. Because I think when we went there, I didn't really have too much to say there because it's just basically saying that the Most High ain't got no respect of persons. When you sin against him, you break his law, hey, you're gonna get this punishment. That's pretty much what it's saying there in 15 and 29. I'm just trying to make sure that we touch all the points, that everything he brought out. And I don't see anything wrong with that. 15, 29, and 30. Did you have anything on that?
I wanted to say on that one. It says, you shall have one law for him that sinned through ignorance, but for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that is sojourn among them. Right? One law. We understand that. It says, but the soul that do aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or of a stranger, the same reproacheth the Lord. That soul shall be cut off from his people. Now, if he's a stranger, he's not of Israel. He's not a part of Israel in the first place. So he's not necessarily. I mean, it is the law is saying, hey, he better not disrespect the Lord the most. Matter of fact, let me get on that one. Where'd it go? Leviticus 20 and 10. Salakia. No, not 20 and 10. Leviticus 24 and 10. Just to go on that one.
I got you. And the son of this is Leviticus 24 and 10. And the son of the Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, being out among the children of Israel. And this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed.
He disrespected the God of Israel. You know what I mean? He disrespected the God of Israel. Let's see what's going to happen to him.
And they brought him unto Moses, and his mother's name was Shelomith, and the daughter of Debri of the tribe of Dan. And they put him in ward, that the mind of the Lord might be shewed them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, bring forth him that have cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him.
15.
And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, whosoever curseth his God shall bear his sin.
And 16, my bad.
And he that blaspheme the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death. And right all the congregation shall certainly stone him.
Salakia. Salakia. So think about this, God. And I'm just now getting this, right? So we read in Numbers 15 and 29, 30, the soul that do aught presumptuously, whether he be born on the land or a stranger, the same reproacheth the Lord, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Like we said, the stranger is a stranger. You know what I mean? He's not of Israel. He's sojourning amongst us, right? So this person, he come against the Lord and say anything crazy. He living amongst us. Anybody that heard him going to put him to death, right? You know, think about young David when he heard the Philistine. He said, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that defies the army of the living God?" You know what I mean? Right. That's talking greasy. Because in the law, it says that he got stoned, didn't he? That nigga got stoned, you know what I mean? That Philistine, Goliath, got stoned. David stood on business. David stood on the law. He said, oh, the Lord, that's the law. I know my God is real. My God say, you talking crazy, you know what I mean, about the Lord, you got to die. We going to stone you. And that's what he did. He stoned him. You understand? You know what I mean? And that's just, you know what I mean, just putting that together. But the main thing is that, you know, yes, we understand that there is a law for anybody in the land. Some of these laws are just period, you know. But since we're going about the stranger that's among us, let us segue real quick. And I know you had something, King, real quick.
No, you fine.
Get Baba Kashai. Let me get Deuteronomy 28, Baba Kashai, and 43, 28 and 43. This is what happened to the strangers when they amongst us. When we live in wicked, you know what I mean? This is the strangers, them same strangers we're talking about.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
We understand, and we can see that right now. Everybody want to be a part of the what's it called? The Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? The civil rights movement, all that type of stuff. But you look at, we the only ones that's getting beat by billy clubs and dogs sicked on us, water hose put on us, you know what I mean, and everything else, right? Everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. Like
Paul Mooney.
Yeah. Rest in peace. He dead, ain't he?
Yeah.
But yeah. So, you know, the stranger, you know, the Lord is he always putting a difference between these strangers. You know what I mean? Now the Lord is talking to Israel in all these pericopes, and we're going to further substantiate that. But I'm gonna let you go ahead, King, for you know, get your part. And I'll read.
I was cool with that where you were going, because that's a good point and is well put. I just try to make sure we touch on everything, like he said. Oh, yeah, but when you say stranger, like it doesn't give you it gives you the context that it's a stranger. You can assume that it's a stranger, just some random, you know, just somebody just moving through the land. Most of the time, it'll tell you that it's a sojourner, a stranger that sojourn with you, or it's just a regular stranger. But it doesn't really tell you if it's stranger is someone that estranged themselves by not keeping the law. It just says stranger.
Good point.
Because David said that he was a stranger and a sojourner. But we know he was in the land with his people. But what made him a stranger was in a sojourner that he wandered out of the way of the Lord. That's what made him a stranger.
Great.
So you have to take that into context. Like, is it talking about a stranger in itself? Because later on, we jumped around to a lot of different precepts, which is good so that we can all get an understanding of it. But to really go into it, like when you have to have the understanding. Every time it says stranger, it's not just a stranger. Like you said, it's not always a stranger of the heathen. It could be a stranger of your people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where like you have to look at the context of things, because it's easy just to say, well, we gotta love the stranger. But how do you love the stranger? And then this is talking about in the context of in your land. And then with us being a city around, having your people, having a city and everything, you got gates and stuff. So it ain't just people just walking around randomly through your city. When it says strangers, they must have already been there with you. They had to be somewhere with you because they got in the gate somehow.
Right.
Because Israel's not just like, oh, you just wanted to wander in here, just wander in here. Could have spied out the land.
He said he want a 5-bedroom over there in Manessa. You know what
right.
I mean?
We're not just letting people over there. We're not just letting people just walk through the land and then just become sojourners with Israel. That's not something that just happens. Right. So these strangers, I presume, would be like strangers to the land that they were in. Because we were all given land at some point.
Exactly.
Like Manasseh has land here. You say Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim have land there. Judah have land here. On the other side, you got on the other side of the Jordan, completely. You have the land of Israel. These are laws that have to be held to in their land.
Right.
So right. It goes with the context. You have to look at the context. That's why, Cap brought it out good. I think for Numbers 15 and 29 and 30, I think that was a good precept that he brought out. 24, 10 through 16, and because that shows you that, hey, even though he was amongst them, hey, you can get it too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had that all I have for that one. For Deuteronomy 10, he went through 13 and 19. Let's see. Let me get that real quick.
Yeah, I can read it if you want me to.
I don't even really have to. Yeah, we're just gonna hit that point that it was there because 10, 13 through 19. I'm just gonna try to summarize it up. Ain't no use of reading back over it, and we already just read it. I want to try to keep it precise and concise. Right. When he was talking about, he said that because I think the main point that Brother J. Rob was trying to bring out was that we got to love the stranger and giving him food and raiment, and because we have to love ye. It said, love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. And my presumption for that is that it's talking about someone who isn't in your land, that's a stranger, not like an actual heathen. To love a heathen and give him food and raiment, because you don't even see that provision in the law. Like, even though it's talking about the law, you don't see anywhere where it gives you provision where how you're supposed to love this stranger. Like it said for the people in your land. So again, that goes back to what I was talking about. Random people aren't just walking through your land, but if you have another tribe in the land where you're growing your vineyard or whatnot, they are your people, and you're not just going to be like, hey, you can't come in here, Manasseh. Right. This is Reuben's land.
Right.
You got to love your people, and they would be strangers in your land, because that word there is for a foreigner. Mm-hmm. So that would be somebody foreign to where you're at. That's my understanding for it. It's like if I'm in Judah, and then I'm Judah, and then I go to Gad, I'm foreign to their land or where they are. I might be traveling there through their land. Like, man, I'm hungry. Hey, they got some grapes in the field. I can just grab some of those and eat those until I get through to, I want to go to I might want to go to Dan. I'm going there. So I might need food and I might need clothing. So I see that provisioning. because that would make more sense to me, that it's showing you that you got to love your people, because that's the whole thing about being separate from other people, is that you're supposed to be together as a people. So you're supposed to take care of your people, and that's loving the stranger, a foreigner that's from like another tribe or whatnot. Even if the children of Israel could be a foreigner for that land, into the land that they're traveling into. You look like you got something, Cap.
I was just going to say, just on top of that, like you were saying, it makes sense, because think about it. We in a land with gates and walls, you know what I mean? All the heathen hate us. We're not just opening the gates and niggas just moseying in there, and we not, you know what I mean, going through things with them and protocols. You know, like people are sending spies, you know, in the book of Joshua that we were just at. They were sending spies over into the land and vice versa. You know, just like he read. The Gibeonites that we made the league with, they were right. They were spies. They came over. You know what I mean? We read in the book of Isaiah, Hezekiah let in spies, showed them everything that we had, and the Lord said, "Oh, since you did that, your sons are going to become eunuchs." You know what I mean? They're going to become eunuchs. You know what I mean? Since you did that, you know, the Lord ain't just opening up to anybody. You know what I mean? It's rules and levels. You know what I mean? We not just, hey, anybody come on in here and worship our God. This our God. We had to deal with all the, hey, you can just come on and just, you know what I mean, graft yourself in. Now, we talking about strangers that are amongst us, you know, we'll get to that in a minute, because I know we got some other steps to go to. But that's what I wanted to put on that, man, is that we ain't just opening the gate and letting people roam around and do whatever they got to do. You know what I mean? These are special strangers, like you're pointing out, King.
Right. Another point, that was a lot to touch on in Deuteronomy 29.
Salaki.
Oh, go ahead.
Salaki, my bad. I forgot to get my point on the 10 and 15 through 18. I had a precept on that one.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 33, 27 through 29.
33, 27 and 29.
Yes, sir.
29. All right. This is Deuteronomy 33 and 27. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them.
Destroy them, these enemies, Salakia. I'm gonna real quick, stay right there, but I just want to show you who the enemies are. I'm gonna go to Nehemiah chapter 5 and verse number, is it Nehemiah or Ezra? 5 and 9. It says, also I said, it is not good that you do aught. Ought you not to walk in the fear of our power, because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies. The heathen are the other nations, the so-called strangers, the Gentiles. The Bible calls them our enemies. So 27, one more time, God.
God. Deuteronomy 33, 27. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee. And shall say, destroy them.
The heathen, come on.
Israel then shall dwell in safety alone.
How they going to dwell, King?
In safety alone.
Alone. Israel is going to dwell alone. Like we went to Daniel 2 and 44. We might have been jumping the gun, but this is prophesying. Israel is going to dwell alone. Ain't no strangers, like Joel said. Ain't no strangers going to be amongst us in that day, because we read in Deuteronomy 28 that the strangers get high above us. They forget about us. They don't worry about. They step on us. We're a step. We're a stool for the stranger. We're not worried about the stranger in that day. Keep on going, God.
Con. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew.
Con. 29 is another point.
Happy art thou, O Israel.
O stranger.
O Israel. Who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord?
Right.
The shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency? And thy enemies shall be found liars unto thee.
The heathen gonna be found liars, like Jeremiah 16:19 say the Gentiles gonna come to the Most High in that day, and they're gonna say we have inherited lies. You know what I mean? We've inherited lies. We thought we could be saved with everybody. We thought that all we had to do was sit back and open the door for the. You know what I mean? Go ahead, King.
And thou shalt tread upon their high places.
We're gonna tread upon the high places of the Gentiles, of the enemies, the heathen. And just like the brother went to, you know what I mean, he showed that Joshua, instead of killing these dogs like he was going to do, you know what I mean, because they lied, and he made a covenant with them towards the Most High God, right? That you know, they could be at peace with them. And I'm gonna show you what kind of peace he was gonna have with them, right? But he said, oh, okay, since you did that, cool, we ain't gonna kill you, but you know what you got to do? Like brother said, you got to get to work. You're gonna be a slave. You're gonna be a servant. The mixed multitude that was with us when he went to Deuteronomy, that was here. I think it was 32 or 33. Anyway, yeah, he went to Deuteronomy 29 and 10. We'll get to that. But those were hewers of stone and wood. Those were servants. Those were workers. Those were working class. They were servants. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But real quick on this one, before I forget, do you mind? And I'm gonna give it right back to you, King. Let's get Deuteronomy, Baba Kashai, Deuteronomy 20 and 10. This is what he was doing to the Gibeonites. What he was going to do.
Deuteronomy 20 and verse 10.
Yes, sir.
And it reads, when thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it.
Do what to it?
Proclaim peace unto it.
Yes, sir.
And it shall be, if it make thee answer of peace and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee.
They're going to have to pay taxes. They're going to work for us. So what Joshua was doing was saying, hey, look, these people, because Joshua is after the book of Deuteronomy, right? These people that we just made peace with, so-called made a league with, that's an investment. They belong to us now. Everything they get belong to us. So if you coming against them, you messing with my money. You messing with our livelihood. You know what I mean? You messing with our resources. Of course we going to come after you. You know what I mean? And this goes, I'm not going to go to it, but it goes kind of goes into what Abraham did. Abraham, his son his nephew got taken by them 5 kings. And Abraham, he girded up all of his servants, you know what I mean, in his household. And we know that Abraham had heathen servants. They were all circumcised though. He keeping the law. And he went with a small army and got his nephew back, got the people back. You know what I mean? But it wasn't because of the other people. It was because of his nephew. You know what I mean? That's still his blood, his people's. You know what I mean? So it ain't that, you know, hey, we still gonna be cool with y'all. It ain't about that. It's about a covenant that I got, and that's loving his brother. That was a law. He had to do that. You know what I mean? Abraham was an old man when he did it. He had to do that. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm gonna say on that one. On that, what was that? Deuteronomy 15. I just go to that. It's talking about, you know, it's really going into our people. You know, it's favoring us. Let me just say that. You know, to say it and to land my plane there. I got some more points too on different points that he went to. If you don't have them, but
for the Deuteronomy 10 or
no, just 29. Period. Different ones that he went to that we can, you know, just in case, because I know you was reading. I don't know if you was able to touch on it. Remember everywhere he went. I don't think I got everything, but
I was trying to, you know.
I got some just trying to slip up.
Yeah, I got Deuteronomy 29. He went through 9 through 18, basically.
Oh yeah.
And I hear this one a lot, but like even before you even read into that, you got to jump to the beginning of the chapter just to figure out who he's talking about, because you hear D a lot in this. So Deuteronomy 29 and 1, and it reads, these are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab. So that just tells you right now who this whole chapter is concerning. No matter what it say at one point or two or the second point, the Lord told Moses to speak unto the children of Israel. Mm-hmm. Everything else sequential is just like things that are happening around it. But the main subject is the Lord wants to pass the word to the children of Israel. So when you understand that besides this covenant which he made in Horeb, so he made a covenant in Horeb, and this is a covenant that he's making in Moab, right? So he's saying here, these are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel. Not anybody else mentioned in this first part. So then by the time you jump down to verse 9, it says, keep therefore the words of this covenant to do them. We know that we're still talking to the children of Israel. And then it said, now it's about to tell you who's there with him while they're making this covenant. Mm-hmm. It says, you stand this day, all of you, before the Lord your God. So it's just telling you, it's just basically giving you a roster who's there. Captains of the tribes, elders, officers, and then it says with, that's an italicized. So I'll just take it with a grain of salt of with. It's just saying all of the men of Israel, your children, your wives, and the strangers that is in the camp, from the telling you what kind of strangers these are. So these are strangers that are in servitude. They're here listening to this covenant that the Lord is making with the children of Israel through Moses. So when it goes into that, and then it tells you in verse 12, because I like try to keep this together. It says that thou should enter into covenant with the Lord thy God. So who's the thou? The thou is you. And the sole subject about who it's talking to is Moses telling the children of Israel what the Lord said, not what Moses said to the children of Israel along with the strangers. They just happened to be there. It was just so that everybody be a witness to what the Most High said. He said, we having an all hands meeting, and here's what's going down. That's what the Lord said. He said, I'm having an all hands meeting. Moses, I'm giving you the word, tell the people.
So and Slakia.
Go ahead.
Just to land back on that, like you're saying, and he's saying, yes, I'm telling you all this before all these people. You got your officers here, your kids, the hewers of stone and wood, the strangers, they all here to hear us, basically to hear me enter this covenant with you and your people, right? That's all I had on that.
Okay. I heard you turning them pages. I was like, he about to get a precept.
I'm looking for something else now. I'm gonna touch on. You know what I mean? When you done.
No, I just wanted to touch on that because even when you look at 10, it's telling you that you have all the men of Israel there. So that's concluding that, and then after it told you what men of Israel are there, it tells you it's just listing everybody else that's there with them. It says all the men of Israel. And then it says your little ones, your wives, and thy strangers. Now, like that means your strangers. And then it tells you what kind of strangers, from the hewers of wood, which those are servants in servitude, and to the drawers of water, which is also servants in servitude. And like this, and that he's saying that y'all, that thou, the word thou means you, that you should have entered into the covenant with the Lord thy God. And the Lord thy God, he said that I will be a God. He said, I'll be your God and y'all will be my people. He didn't say that. He didn't say that to the strangers. He said that to Israel. So we can understand in the same context, going from the first verse of the chapter, he's still talking to the children of Israel all the way through. Even when you get to 13, it says that he may establish thee today for a people unto himself. Who else had he made a people unto himself? When did you read that anywhere else? He made a people unto himself, other nations. So you also have to take that into context as well. He said that he may be unto thee a God. He said that too. I'll be your God and you shall be my people. That was in Exodus. And then he said unto them as he had sworn unto thy fathers. So now these heathens' fathers would have to be these people. It said to Abraham. Okay, Abraham had it's the father of many nations. Isaac, that's his son. We're narrowing it down into Jacob. And now that's all the way down to the children of Israel. So that's the point like, even though it says all of that between there, by the time you get to 13, he tells you who it's to, because these have to be all your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you can't say that for every nation. You can't say that for all the strangers. So that's how I come to the conclusion. It can't be including them right there when it says just because the ewers of water, the strangers that were ewers of water were there, that pertains to them, because that means unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That would have to be in the lineage. Their lineage would have to have those in it. So that's how I look at that. I don't know if you had anything on that, Cap.
Yeah, just a little bit. That's very precise and concise. You know what I mean? Very good. Going in context. Also, to get on top of that, I was gonna get Hebrews 8, and I'm gonna get Jeremiah 31 and 31. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them. But this shall be the covenant that," so that's just talking about how he made the old covenant with the house of Israel and Judah. You know, you can kind of try to, you know what I mean? And that's bending it. You know, he's making the covenant with Israel and Judah and with their descendants to come. You know, now when these heathen are in the land, yes, they have to keep the law. So he is telling them this and that you got to do, but mainly that's this covenant is with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. One more thing I wanted to put on that is I'm gonna get Amos chapter 3 and 2. You know, because the Most High is not senile. He's not, you know what I mean, a man that he should lie, or the son of man that he should repent. Amos 3 and 2 says, "You only," so like, let me start at 3 and 1. "Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt." That's what we're reading about in Deuteronomy. The whole family that he brought up in the land of Egypt. "You only have I known of all the families of the earth." You only. "Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquity." The Lord said he only knows Israel. He only knows Israel. And he's not a man that he should lie. He's not talking to other nations. He's not talking to other people. Salakia, my tablet is going to die. I'm going to switch to my phone. So it may take me just, you know what I mean, 30 seconds or something like that. Matter of fact, just we're gonna keep on going. And if I cut out, I'll come right back in.
Okay.
So we just now touched on, what was that? Deuteronomy 29.
Yeah, we're on 29 all the way to 13. I didn't feel the need to keep going any further because it just goes to Dow and then D, which we know the subject is Moses talking to the children of Israel. So that's my stance on that one. On how I look at that, because Exodus 6 and 7, it basically tells you that, you know, I'll be your God and you shall be my people.
That's right.
So
that's right. Beautiful point.
We got Joshua. I think that was Joshua 9.
Joshua, yeah, he went to Joshua. Before we go there,
right?
Can we get Leviticus 22 and 11 and 12? Because he touched on how the priests, the Levites, have their daughters. They can't marry a stranger, or if they marry a stranger, you know.
I got you. This is Leviticus.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm trying to switch this thing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go out and come right back in.
All right.